Hi, I'm Helen, and this story is called A Royal Journey to Heaven. It's from India. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, stories began. Once upon a time there was a very foolish king and a cunning minister, and the minister would never let anyone near the king apart from himself, so the king trusted the minister entirely. One night, as they were walking through the palace gardens under the light of the moon, the king heard a dreadful screeching and barking from the woods. "What is that noise?" he asked his minister. "Why do I have to hear it? Oh, it's horrid." "Ah," said the minister, "that sound is the foxes crying with hunger. You see, the officer in charge of foxes has not been doing his job, and they're pleading with your majesty to feed them." "Oh," said the king, who loved the idea of being a hero, "we must feed them right this instant. Take as much money as you need from the royal treasury and wrap that officer for foxes up in a blanket and push him off the cliff." Now the king's minister had never liked the officer in charge of foxes, so he was only too happy to dispose of him. But all that money from the king's treasury went straight into the minister's pocket. The next night they were out walking again through the woods, and this time, even louder, the king heard the barking of the foxes. "Why, how can this be?" asked the king. "Haven't they been fed? Why are they still crying?" "Ah," said the minister, "these foxes are thanking your majesty, for they are so pleased to be fed." "Oh, you're so clever," said the king. "Please never leave me, minister." "Of course," said the minister. "I will follow you wherever you go, king. Even to heaven or to hell. Wherever you go, there I shall be." And the king was so pleased with this. But just then a wild boar ran out from behind a bush and crossed their path. "What is that creature?" asked the king. "Ah," said the minister, "that is an elephant, I'm sorry to say." "What?" said the king. "Shouldn't it be a bit bigger?" "Ah, yes," said the minister, "but the officer in charge of elephants has not been feeding them properly." "Right, you must take more money from the royal treasury," said the king, "and feed these poor creatures, and that officer in charge of elephants should be hung upside down on a tree right at the top of the mountain until he turns into an icicle." "Of course, your majesty," said the minister. "It shall be done." "You are so faithful," said the king. "Promise me you will never leave me." "Your majesty," said the minister, "you know I will follow you to heaven or to hell." And so the officer in charge of elephants was turned into an icicle, I'm sorry to say. But all that money from the treasury went straight to the minister himself. By this time his pockets were full, so he started to fill a golden chest in his room. The next day the king was surprised to see the wild boar roaming around his gardens. As he looked out from the window, he cried for his minister and said, "How can this be? The elephant is still tiny." "Ah, no," said the minister. "That is a mouse, fat and bloated from eating your food from the royal kitchens, your majesty. The cook is so careless, she is always leaving your finest food out for the mice to eat." "That cannot be," said the king. "My food? We must hang her at once." And so the gallows were prepared for that evening. The cook was to be hung. But the cook heard about this, and in secret she came to see the minister, and she brought with her plenty of gold, which the minister's eyes lit up at the sight of. "I'll bring you the finest food that money can buy, and you'll have it before the king himself," said the cook. The minister liked the sound of this, so he agreed. And that night, as the cook was led towards the gallows, the minister cried, "Stop, your majesty! I have just been reading through my moon calendar, and it says that anyone who dies at this hour on this day will go straight to heaven, for it is a lucky time." "Oh," said the king. "Yes," said the minister. "You see, if you send that dreadful cook to the gallows now, she will go straight to heaven, and what kind of punishment will that be?" "You're right," said the king. "In fact, if it is such a lucky time, I think I should like to see heaven myself." "What?" said the minister. "Yes," said the king, "I shall be hung. But first You must come with me." And so the king ordered that the minister, who had always promised to follow the king to heaven or to hell, should be hung first. And so he was. And did they see heaven? Well, that I don't know. Thank you for listening. 3, 2, 1, stories done.